All right, get ready, because today we're diving deep into faith.
Really fascinating stuff.
But we're not talking about just, blind faith. We're talking about the kind that, well, according to this piece you sent us, can move mountains.
Oh, really?
Yeah, fe a Dios. Literally, that means faith in God.
Okay.
And we're going to break it down and see how it goes way beyond just a religious idea. It's like this active force that can seriously impact your everyday life.
Yeah, it's interesting, it's not just a concept, this faith thing. It actually shapes our world, like how we experience things, how things played out.
Wild. It's like suddenly you're seeing everything through a new lens.
Yeah.
And the source keeps coming back to this. Faith, it shifts your whole perspective. Like, think about Abraham.
Okay.
He gets this promise, right? He's going to have more descendants than there are stars in the sky.
Wow. Okay.
But here's the thing. He and Sarah, way past the age of having kids.
Oh, wow.
But he believes it anyway.
That takes some serious faith.
It does. He's not letting his current reality, with all its limitations, dictate what he believes is possible.
And that's the point, isn't it? It's not about ignoring reality. It's about tapping into something deeper, a different layer of possibility.
Exactly. And it makes me think about, like, successful entrepreneurs,
Okay.
They see potential where other people just see a big dead end.
Yeah, you have to have that vision.
It's like that unwavering belief. That's what fuels them to keep going. It's that spark,
It really is.
Have you ever noticed that when you really believe you can do something,
Yeah.
you approach it totally differently?
Oh, absolutely.
You're more willing to take risks. You push harder. That energy shift, that's a faith in action.
It's the difference between wanting something and knowing it's going to happen. And that belief, it changes everything.
And you know what else the source talks about? Facing fear head on.
Oh, interesting.
Faith is like this shield against all that fear and doubt.
It's true.
I mean, picture yourself as David staring up at Goliath.
Yikes. Talk about intimidating.
Right. You've got your little slingshot and a whole lot of faith.
Powerful image.
And we all have our own Goliaths, right? Maybe not literally giants,
Thankfully, no.
but those challenges, those anxieties that pop up, this piece, Fe a Dios, it reminds us that faith, it's not about pretending fear doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's about finding the strength to face it.
Having that framework, that
It's-
source of strength to say, okay, I can handle this.
It's like your armor, that belief.
I like that.
But what's really cool is this source, it acknowledges doubt.
Mhm.
Like, remember Peter walking on water.
Oh, yeah.
He's doing great, full of faith, until he takes his eyes off Jesus.
And focuses on the waves.
Yeah, exactly. Starts sinking.
It's classic Peter.
It's like even when doubt creeps in, it doesn't mean your faith is gone.
It's a reminder that we can have those doubts, but still choose to anchor ourselves to something bigger.
It's like Peter crying out, "Save me." We
Yeah.
can recenter ourselves, find that faith again.
Exactly. It's a process.
And this is where it gets really wild. We're going to talk miracles.
Oh.
Not like, magic wands and
Yeah.
disappearing acts, but those moments where the impossible, it becomes possible.
I like where this is going.
Fe a Dios takes these like almost unbelievable stories from the Bible and somehow makes them relatable.
It does, yeah.
Think about that woman. She'd been bleeding for like 12 years.
Oh, I remember that story.
She touches Jesus's robe, just the edge of it,
And she's healed.
healed. Or the idea that even a tiny mustard seed of faith.
Can move mountains, right?
Exactly. Whether you take these stories literally or you see them as metaphors, they show what can happen when we tap into that unwavering belief.
It's about the potential that's unleashed when we connect to something larger than ourselves.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
But it's not about demanding miracles on our own terms.
Right. It's not about that. It's about understanding that faith can create those openings for the unexpected to happen.
Aligning ourselves with something bigger.
Exactly. Tapping into a force beyond our everyday understanding.
Like trusting that there's more to this life than what we can see and touch right now.
And sometimes that means taking that first step without seeing the whole staircase.
Without knowing every single step.
You got it.
Wow, that's powerful. And it takes a lot of faith.
It really does.
It really does take faith. And we've seen how faith can help us overcome fear, give us strength. But how does it actually, work? What's going on when somebody does something that seems, impossible? Like, what does the source say about that?
That's a question that people have been asking for centuries. It's a real head scratcher.
It is.
One way to think about it is this. Faith taps into a different realm of possibility.
Okay.
Some people call it the spiritual realm, others higher consciousness.
Right.
But whatever you call it, it works differently than our everyday logic.
Like a different set of rules.
Exactly. It's like a different playing field where anything is possible.
Whoa. Okay, so how do we get on that playing field?
Well, it starts with recognizing that there's more to reality than what we can see and touch. Like, think about energy.
Yeah.
We can't see it directly, but we know it's there.
We see what it does, yeah.
Right. We experience its effects. And faith, it's kind of like that.
So how do we tap into it? It can't just be wishful thinking, can it?
No, you're right. The source talks about this, actually. There's a difference between blind faith and what we might call active faith.
Active.
Yeah, it's not passive. Active faith, it's about aligning your actions with your beliefs.
So you have to do something.
Yes. You take those steps towards what you want.
Even if you don't know the whole path yet.
Sometimes you got to take that leap of faith.
Even if you don't know where you'll land.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Trusting that the net will appear.
I don't know if I could do that.
It takes courage, definitely.
It does. It reminds me of, like, what you were saying about David and Goliath.
Yeah.
David was scared, but he had that faith to keep going.
His faith fueled his courage.
And I think we all have those moments,
Yeah.
you know, where we have to dig deep and find that strength.
We all face our Goliaths.
We do. And sometimes it's those moments, those really tough moments, that show us what we're really made of.
It's like the pressure, it forces us to grow. We come out stronger on the other side.
So the more we use that faith muscle, the stronger it gets.
Exactly. Every time we choose faith over fear, we're strengthening that connection to something bigger than ourselves.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But what about those times when, even with faith, things don't work out? Like, what about when those miracles, they don't happen?
Yeah, that's a tough one. And the source, Fe Dios, it doesn't shy away from that.
It doesn't.
No, it acknowledges that faith, it's not always easy.
Yeah, sometimes it's really hard.
It is.
Yeah.
But it also challenges us to look at those setbacks differently.
How so?
Well, it uses this analogy of a gardener pruning a tree.
Pruning. Okay.
So the gardener, they cut back branches, even healthy ones.
That seems kind of harsh, doesn't it?
It does. But the gardener knows that pruning, it's essential for the tree to grow strong.
So those tough times, those are like pruning moments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They might feel painful, but they're making us stronger, more resilient.
So even when our faith is tested, it's actually helping us grow.
It's refining us, purifying us.
Okay, but how do we make sense of that? If faith is supposed to be a source of comfort, how can it also be so challenging?
That's where surrender comes in.
Surrender.
Yeah, it's a key part of this whole thing. It's about recognizing that we're not in control of everything.
Letting go of the need to control every little thing.
Exactly. Trusting that there's a bigger plan.
Even when we don't understand it.
Even then.
Wow, that's a lot to take in.
It is, but it's in that surrender that we find true peace.
Peace.
Yes. We open ourselves up to a deeper level of trust, a deeper level of faith.
Yeah, finding that peace. Even when everything feels out of control, it's like trusting that even though we can't see the whole picture, our lives, they're still part of something bigger, something meaningful.
It's like a tapestry, right?
Exactly. We might just see a few threads.
But they're all connected.
And when we surrender to that, we start to see things differently. Those challenges, they're not just roadblocks anymore. They're like opportunities.
Yeah. To grow, to change direction, to discover what we're truly capable of.
To realize just how strong we really are.
Exactly. And as we grow stronger, something amazing happens.
What's that?
We start to attract different things into our lives.
Like what?
New opportunities, new relationships, even different outcomes.
Wow, so it's not that life gets easier, but we're better equipped to handle it.
Exactly. We develop this deeper capacity to navigate it all, with grace, with resilience.
So it's not about using faith to control everything, but trusting that no matter what, we're not alone.
Yes. That there's something bigger than us looking out for us, Fe Dios. It reminds us that faith, at its core, it's an act of love.
Love.
Yeah. Loving ourselves enough to trust.
And trust that we're not alone, that there's a reason for everything.
Exactly. Even when things don't go our way, there's a purpose there.
A lesson to be learned, a chance to grow.
It's about recognizing that everything, even the tough times, it's all happening for us.
Not to us.
Exactly. And when we can really grasp that,
When we surrender to the journey.
that's when we unlock the true power of faith.
Wow. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Fe Dios, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from it?
If this sparked even a little something inside you, Don't ignore it, explore it.
What do you mean?
Ask yourself, what feels impossible to me right now? What dream am I holding on to? And then take a step towards it.
Even a small step.
Especially a small step, you don't need all the answers.
Just that little spark of belief.
Because even a mustard seed of faith, remember?
It can move mountains. That's powerful.
It is.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, but keep exploring, keep believing, and see what incredible things you can achieve.